All right, let's just talk about, this is a quick slide just to talk about some feature best practices. This is why I always try to kind of educate. Don't create a bunch of unnecessary rules. The reason that default one exists there is to handle all the, all of the cases where you didn't define a rule. Just remember that. Just think of this way. When you're creating a rule, you're actually defining an exception. What that means is that normally calls will route to that, let's say, to an auto attendant. When you're creating a rule, you're basically specifying when you don't want calls to route to an auto attendant. So you're basically creating an exception to the normal processing. So in this particular case, just let that default rule handle anything that needs to route to the auto attendant. Make sure that the holiday rules come first. Or in fact, this applies really to any rule that is based on a full day. And that's because, if you had, for instance, the after hours above holidays, then what happens is a call comes in, it'll process after hours first, which means on after hours, it'll route the call away, and it'll never fall through to the holiday rule. So make sure that any rule that spans a full day goes above any of the rules that kind of cover incremental parts of the day. When you're creating the schedules, don't cram a whole bunch of events on one schedule. You can break them up, create different schedules with different events. For instance, I talked about the, let's say you've got some people that are on call Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday or something. Create a schedule, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule. You have some people that are on call Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Then create a schedule for them as well. So you don't try to cram everything onto one. Just separate them out where they make sense. And again, when you're putting these rules on each of these, the auto attendants, the hunt groups, and the call center queues, check the time zone. Just make sure that the time zone is set correctly. You certainly don't want your business hours being 8 to 5, then for some reason, calls are not routing to your admin until 9 o'clock because your rule processing is operating on a different time zone. So just check that, make sure that it's set correctly, and then that way you'll be less confused.